right? I ordered a water bottle, um, and I ordered 2 water bottles, right? So
Right.
first water bottle I got was about that big, and water bottle. Let me go ahead and mute this. And Lori said, "That's too big." And I was like, "Oh yeah, you should see this other water bottle that came in. This sucker, look at this.
That was
It's like
for
the
your
size of my
Uzo.
It's like the size of my head. Like, look at him. She
Yeah.
said, "You drink this, you're gonna drown." So I've been drinking from this for like 3 days. Sucker's huge. It's a lot. That's
That'd
a
be pretty doggone
whole
heavy to carry around. That doesn't even make any sense.
right. It's a whole lot. Hey, Manu. So we got 1 more minute before we get started.
Morning, sir.
Were you talking to me? Manu, I can't hear you.
Morning.
We can't hear you. Your volume's low. Yeah, we can hear you now. It's still a little soft, a little hard to hear.
Morning, how are you?
Doing fine. Doing fine. Akil, what's up, Akil?
Hello, sir.
I'm gonna start recording. And share the screen next. Go. So Kevin, how's the summer been for you so far?
Terrific.
That's good.
Here in DC area, weather's been really mild compared to other, hot and humid. So weather-wise, good. As always should be anyway, right?
Right. I was when I was in Athens, it was like 105 degrees one day. I was like, like I'm not going outside. 105. It should be illegal that is this hot.
and you have to go outside in Athens because that's part of the reason you're there, I would hope.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, look, I'm only doing stuff at sunrise and after sunset. In between, I'm just going to hibernate and just chill. Okay, cool. So Steph is hopping on, getting her audio clicked in. I'm feeling pretty good. We're on YouTube Live now. Yeah, we're all set up. Like the first time in a long time. Anusha, how are you?
Hello, sir. I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. All right. So I'm ready to rock and roll. It's 10:02. I'm gonna make you co-host too, so anybody tries to come on, you can let them because I'll start rock and roll.
Sure.
All right. So today we're going to talk about past lives. Past lives, the impact it has in it. And I'm going to do past life readings for anyone too as well. So Manu, can you throw yourself on mute, please? The microphone is giving us some background. Thank you, ma'am. So it's a smaller group today too. So that means I can do more readings, as well as Manu is going to put in the chat a link for anyone that wants to schedule time with me on Fridays. Every Fridays, I have set up if you need a palm reading, if you want past life regression reading, if you need advice or just to talk in general, Fridays are my days set for you. All right, cool. So with that, let's jump in and talk about our main goal and purpose, which is the spreading of light. So what do? we are light workers. So once a month, we meditate. The first Sunday of every month, we have 1 hour that's separated, that's out, that we get together and meditate on the same topic. We get on here at 10:01 a.m. and we just meditate for that hour. We have a guided meditation that is also posted on YouTube. And this one says August 1st, but we already had that. So that's my bad. The next one is going to be September 5th. That's going to be September 5th. And that one will be focusing on unity. So I think the numerology for that day is 1. So with that, let's jump into the topic that we have today. One last thing, please tell as many people as you possibly can about the meditations that we do, the global meditations going around, because we want to keep spreading the light. And Manu and I have had discussions. You're going to start seeing emails that go out throughout the month that are deeper exercises in preparation for that meditation, that are posts that you could do to let other people know about meditation, because summer is going to quickly come to an end. And we think the numbers from our classes are going to go up again. So we want to start preparing for that so we can have a boom, a big old explosion. So discovering your past lives. What is this thing about past life regression? How does it relate to reincarnation? Why is it important? Is this just like a spiritual soap opera? You just want to be nosy? And why is it that everybody who does a past life regression, everybody's always like somebody famous? Like I was Napoleon and Alexander the Great. Can't nobody be Ralph the janitor? I mean, Ralph the janitor got to come back too. So we're going to take a look at techniques and how do you find out about your past lives? How does that relate to meditation in general and your success? And then we're going to practice. And then with the remaining time, we got an hour, we're going to do some past life readings. Anybody that's on here that want me to do a reading, we're going to rock and roll with that. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to do your own. And then also I'm going to do it for you. Because some people want to learn how to do it for themselves. Bravo. And other people are like, nah, I don't want to learn how to be a doctor. I just want a doctor to see me. So we're going to do that too. All right. Got a little bit for everybody today. So let me go forward and we'll start here. All right. If you have any questions, comments, drop them in the chat because Manu is going to be peeping them out. And at a certain point, I'm going to ask any comments, any questions that I need to address, and then I'll go there because I want to make sure that I get through all the content that we have. And with any extra time, we can answer questions. Give me a head nod too if you can hear me okay, because my microphone's over here, but I'm facing this way. You got me? Cool. Thanks, Kevin. Chris. All right, cool. All right, how do past lives work? Here's the philosophy. Now, I'm not trying to step on any toes. I'm not trying to mess with anybody's religion. Just from all the places I've been around the world, looking at all the religions combined together, this is what I have found to be the commonality between everything and how this stuff works. Now, you don't have to know how to build a car in order to drive a car. But I wanted you to have some background, some understanding, so that when the techniques come up that I'm going to talk to you about, that it will kind of make sense to you. So we all come from source, God, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. I call him God. It can be he, she, it, Gaia, whatever you consider. Pretty much it seems like it started off with the source, and the source, God, wanted to experience itself. I mean, think about it. You're God. You're all by yourself. Hello? Hello? Ain't nobody else here. So the Supreme Being wanted to experience creation, experience what he had. So from the light, okay, from the source, it's almost like parts of God was pushed out. And these small bits of light, well, that was you, pulled out from God a long time ago. And then as a light, as you were pulled out, you were able to program the life you want. And the whole point being, go through life, make mistakes, experience life, see things from every single angle, from animals to humans to trees. Anything that is living, anything that has spirit has a soul and can come back again and again and again. So even the animals that we have in our life, we have a dog named Bonaparte, and they have certain people who are specialists at pet psychics. You know, like the horse whisperers and all those things. They're really just psychics that, you know, they just said horse whisperer because it sounds better on TV before people are starting to get into metaphysical stuff. So we had this pet psychic go through my dog, and it turns out my dog has past relationships with my wife and me. All right. So your animals that you see, even when you pass over, people who have afterlife experiences and come back, life after death, they talk about being greeted by their pets, their animals that they have had throughout their lives. So energy doesn't vanish. Energy doesn't just, you know, go away and never come back again. And the same people that were around you and alive, and the same beings, the same pets that were around you when you were alive, they're still around you. And the more you meditate, the more you get in contact with the spiritual side, you begin to be able to communicate with them. There is no loss or death or anything like that. Okay. So the piece that pulled out from God decides to have a physical experience, to be on this. That hurt. I took that one a little bit too far. Decides that they're going to be on this physical realm. They have this physical experience, and it could be a tree. I mean, some of the, I know this is going to sound crazy, but what up? This is the crazy group. Some of the best conversations I have ever had, Chris, has been with a tree. Tree had, you watch yourself, a tree was straight up kick some knowledge on you. But in order for you to tap into that tree, you have to sit beside that tree for 3 days. You have to tap into the energy. You have to understand the concept that we are one. So how does past lives work? Okay. Past lives work in the sense that who you are as a spirit, as a soul, is different than who you are as a person. My name I was born with was William Leon Harris. William Leon Harris is the avatar, okay, the human form of another spirit that's eternal, that always was, that always will be. No beginning, no end, because time in and of itself is an illusion. So the higher self, your higher self, is being reincarnated, coming back to earth again and again as a tree. Yeah. As a bird, as a dog, as a human, again and again and again, all different aspects. I met, he was like the first, this guy, I can't remember his name. He was a black guy. He was from Europe. He was a doctor. I saw him at a Hay House event. And he said that most human beings have between 400 and 600 past lives. I was like, good Lord, that's a lot. 400 to 600 past lives. And his whole point was, yeah. So you hear somebody say that they're an old soul, that they've been here before. That's not exactly a compliment. How many times you got to come back, dummy, before you get it right? 600 times. But if you think about it, I went to a meditation retreat. It was an intensive, advanced meditation retreat like 2 weeks ago in Denver. And a guy named was Dr. Joe Dispenza. And 2/3 of the people that were at his event, 2/3, and there was 1,500 people there. 2/3 of them were there because of a physical ailment. Something was going wrong with them. There were some issues with them. And they were trying to get healed. And I was talking to my friends, you know, Chris Mary was there too. And I was like, you know what? Some of these people in here spent all their lives trying to get healed. All their lives, chasing around, going from place to place, trying to get healed. And I said, but they're trying to heal something that's going to die anyway. The body is just going to die. So some people spend their whole entire lives trying to find a cure, and they end up missing living. So another reason why I like talking about past lives is so that we understand this is not it. It's not the end all be all. It's not, I got this one life. I think it's a song like that too. It's like, yeah, one life. No, you get, if you like everybody else, you probably got 400. So I think it's important not to get caught up in how much money you have or, just this one particular thing, but span out and see that there's more to happen. So I'm going to pull out this big jug that I was sharing with my friends. Okay, don't judge me. I didn't know it was going to be this big. This sucker is like half my body size. Look at Rozzy. When I bought it, Rozzy, on Amazon, they didn't have it beside anything. So I did not know sucker was going to be this big. But it took me like 3 days. I still haven't finished all this. My wife said if I drink it all, I'm going to drown. So imagine this is like your soul. In every life you have, that you fill this water up a little bit more, then a little bit more, and a little bit more, a little bit more, until you get to the top. And when you get to the top, that's Jesus status. That's Buddha status. I don't know about Muhammad. That's just me personally. I'm still a little questionable about that one. But Jesus and Buddha definitely reached enlightenment. And once you get to that point, then you no longer are trapped in this rebirth over again and again. Now, the cool part of what I found is the water never goes away. The water never goes away. Like once you learn something, it's not like it can be de-learned. It's still there. The lesson, the growth, the experience. So that's the beautiful part. You're only going forward. So life is all about, are you learning? Are you experiencing? And what can you take? So that's the background on the past life. For those of you that grew up Christian, because when I was talking to when I was 25, 27 years old, I remember the concept of reincarnation was first introduced to me, and I was not feeling it. I was not having it. I was like, there's no way. I don't believe in that crap. They don't talk about that in the Bible. Well, you get a little bit older and you see more, you experience more. You see babies that are like, able to do these amazing things, and child prodigies. Like, how are they able to do that so quickly? And then, they had this TV show. I can't remember the name of it. It was a cool show. It was like they had these kids that were like 7 years old, and 7-year-old was like, my wife lives in California. It's like, what you mean you're 7? You're 7, Stephen. You got no wife. And then they go and check, and this lady does live in California. Like, how do you explain that? So for those of you that come from a Christian background, or if you were a little hesitant in the reincarnation stuff, I'm going to tell you, Jesus talked about reincarnation straight up. I think you have a difference between religion and then just what is. And religion is just that repetition of somebody telling you a message over and over again. But for those of you that are into the Bible, let me kick this to you. His disciples asked him, saying, when they say, the scribes, that Elijah must come first. And Jesus answered and said, Elijah already came. They knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. And then they realized he was talking about John the Baptist. So in this particular case, the reference to reincarnation that I'm making is that John the Baptist, AKA Jesus' first cousin, right? The thought process is that Elijah, he was the reincarnation of Elijah. So he came back. And the same thing for Jesus, that this was not Yeshua's first incarnation. It was his best one. He was in it to win it, this one, but that he had been here before. And that even in the previous life, Elijah was his mentor, much like John the Baptist this time around came. There's people in our lives that we meet and we seem like, oh my God, I seem like I've known you forever, that you automatically have this connection to, that you feel tight with. Well, that's not the first time you got with them. You got with them probably 5, 10, 15, 20 lifetimes in a row. That's why you're so tight. And then there's people that you meet and you're just like, I ain't feeling her. She dogged you over for the last 5 lifetimes. That's why. So all of these things and people that we come into, their feelings. I was telling somebody the other day who didn't believe in reincarnation. I said, you know what? I got to kick it to you real. It's hard to put together a puzzle when you're not playing with all the pieces. It's hard to put together a puzzle when you're not playing with all the pieces. If you're like, well, this piece and this one and this one. Why won't these 3 pieces? Why don't these 3 pieces make the whole picture? Because, fool, you're missing this one. If these 3 pieces together aren't causing things to come together, then you need to broaden your horizons. So that's all I got to kick it to you on this. It's hard to believe that out of billions of years, that human beings only get one shot in order to get it right. Nah, it's hard to believe. It's just hard to believe. So if that's hard to believe, what's easier to believe? So now I want to go through and I want to talk about some terminologies. 20 minutes. All right, we're doing pretty good. Talk about some terminologies. And as I'm going through, if you have questions, comments, doubt, oh my God, 26 messages in the chat already? That's like more than a message a minute. All right, let me start right here. I'm going to ask Manu. Manu, are there any questions in the chat that I probably should address before I go into this? Can't hear you if you're talking. All right, we're just going to keep going.
Hello.
You figure out. Yeah. Mhm.
Can you hear me?
I can. Are there
Hi.
any questions or comments right now?
Yes. So, well, in this session, you are going to do the live reading. So people give their names. I mean, you have to select 3 names and give them a live reading.
Okay, no worries. Are there any like specific questions that anyone asked or comments about what I talked about so far?
No, so far
Okay.
we didn't got any specific questions. You can
Cool. I'm
continue
going to
the
keep
session.
rocking and rolling then. So let's jump in. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to talk about these terminologies right here. Okay. And at any particular point, if you have any questions, just throw them in the chat. Past life reading, past life regression. What is that? Okay. So one thing is what you do. Another thing is what you have done to you. So if you go through a past life regression, that is something you do. Okay. That's you going deep into meditation in a trance-like state. And let me define trance. Trance is a state of total peace. It's when you don't feel your body, when you're no longer tied to this earthly realm of physical stuff. You're strictly in that spiritual state of mind, state of being. You're someplace, and that someplace ain't here. And when you get there, you're able to go back because time really doesn't exist. So you're able to rewind to any particular point in time that you want to. Past, present, future. So past life regression is when you go deep into relaxation, deep into meditation, deep into trance. And when you get there, you are able to go to a particular time and place and see things, feel things, experience things, know things. That's a past life regression where you are either being hypnotized, taken into a deep state, and then figuring that stuff out from there. Okay. Now, past life reading, that's something that's done to you, okay? Done for you. So that would be like at the end of this, the 3 people that want it, I would do a reading on them and tell them what I see about their past lives, how that has an impact on what they're doing right now. You got it? So past life regression, you do it, okay? Past life reading, somebody does it for you, okay? Now, certain things I want you to keep in mind around this. Do you have a particular passion for the unfamiliar? Like, I never did this before, but something just draws me to do it. It could be that in a past life, this was something that you heavily were involved in. So this gives you ideas. There's certain, how can I say, ripples of life that are just sitting there waiting for you to discover, certain talents and passions waiting to explode as you find out about it. Life can be so much juicier. And I talk to people and I say, anytime you think life is boring, we need to look at it from a different angle, because there's so many different things that are out there that you don't know about, that you have experienced and tasted. You can build this whole life full of nothing but beautiful, joyful things that you have experienced so far, and use that energy to catapult and be such a blessing, to be such a bright, brilliant light. And that's why I wanted to talk about the past lifestyle, because if we can clean up some of our past life garbage, then we can shine brighter during this one. So that when we have our global meditations, when we're trying to add light to the world, we're shining as bright as possible. So your passions around things that are unfamiliar can tell a lot. Do you have any phobias? Any things that you're afraid of that you had never experienced before? Like maybe you have a fear. Like my mama had a fear of bridges. Bridges. Ain't nothing happened to her, no bridge. Ain't nobody ever pushed her off no bridge. Not in this life. But why does my mother have such a deep fear of bridges? Okay. There could be health problems that you have. That's not in your DNA. Nobody in your family has had lung cancer. You haven't smoked at all, haven't been around smokers, but now you have lung cancer. Why is that? If it's down your DNA pool, if you're able to go back, well, most people, hopefully, not everybody's able to go back. I did a DNA thing on me, and descendants of slaves is always jacked up. I'm a little bit Scottish, a little bit Mayan, a little bit Native American, and a whole lot of Black. So not everybody can go back and take a look at what they are. But if you know you don't have these issues or problems in your DNA, that your lifestyle didn't cause it, where are these things coming from? It's just luck? Nah, I don't believe that. You can't believe that everything happens for a reason and then believe your health problems are just luck of the draw. I don't think so. So sometimes things that we have done, I think that life karma is not about punishment. That's your karma. Well, you know, Western culture, we kind of trick that to being, well, that's what you get. Karma's going to get you. Well, I don't think that's the way God works. I don't think the way karma is. I think it's about cause and effect. And no matter what you do, you can't escape it. You can do something in this life and be paying for it several lifetimes. You can have emotional baggage that you haven't let go that manifests into something physical, and this one and that one. So people that are like, oh, that Jack the Ripper died and we never caught them. The universe did. You can best believe that. Jack the Ripper is jacked up somewhere right now. So being able to take a look at your past life has all these different impacts and ripple on you. And what you can do about it is focus regression. Focus regression. Think on your life. Think on a pattern, an issue, something that, you know, why has this happened to me? Or why am I like this? It could be something bad. It could be something good. And if you focus on that, and then you either have a past life regression, you'll find out why. Or you have a past life reading and you find out why, what you can do about it. So I'll tell you about me. And let's try to see if I had a picture nearby. I guess I don't. So I used to have a fear of speaking in public, performing in public. When I was a junior in high school, I was on a wrestling team and I was ranked #1 in our city. And #1. And in the district finals, I got pinned. I was #1. I got pinned in 7 seconds. Like, really? It takes people, some people, it takes 7 seconds just to fall down. It's the first time my grandma has seen me wrestle too, first and last time. I got pinned in 7 seconds. That's how bad my stage fright was. And then I had a past life regression that someone taught me through. I was in California, San Diego. I'll never forget this. And this lady taught me into being able to see my past lives. And when I did it, what happened was I saw myself, and I was in Africa, and I was walking through, and it was, I don't know what you call it, a bush or whatever, but there were all these like weeds or grains that were real high up. And I couldn't see that there was a lion that was hiding in between them. And then all of a sudden I saw the lion, then the lion jumped up and attacked me and killed me. This was in my past life regression. And when I saw that lion, that fear that I had when I first saw the lion was the exact feeling that I had every time I knew I had to perform. Back when I was in the 11th grade, I felt it. When I had to speak in college, I felt it. When I had to speak in business, I felt that same feeling. It was the exact same feeling. So my understanding was, from a past life, from the way that I died in that life, I had brought that fear, that feeling, and attached it to public speaking. Now, what do you do about it? So I don't know, most of you guys know me. I speak in front of a lot of people now. Like one time I spoke in front of 800,000 people live, and I felt as comfortable talking to them as I do talking to you all right now. So how do you go from you get pinned in 7 seconds in front of your grandma to speaking in front of 800,000 people like it's nothing at all? What I did was, in this past life regression, you can redo things. You can rewrite the script. You can rewrite the meaning. Now, whatever happened to you happened, but the meaning behind what happened can be changed, can be different. That is 100% in your control. And that's what we're going to work on today, okay? Now, this is what I wanted to point out to you. Past lives. As a summary, I do, we do, you do it together, you do it alone. That's the power of this group, right? So I can do it in terms of just focusing on Kevin and tell Kevin my impressions and what do I get? Is Kevin from Atlantis? Is Kevin from Lemuria? Is he an old soul, or is he a newer one? Well, nobody's like brand new. We've all been around here a long time. But that's me doing it. And for me, and the way things work for me, it's like you see a kill, right? I can look at a kill because his head has a light background, the white behind there. And if I see, like, it's almost to me like a faint shadow that goes back far, well, then that means to me that a kill has had a lot of lives, a lot. So it's almost like an after image that gets stretched for me. Now, everybody isn't going to be everybody has the ability to see the past lives. Anything that I do, anything you see these famous people do, yeah, you can do it too. You absolutely can. The problem is that many people are visual, and they think that the way I see this world and interact in this world is the way that I interact in the spiritual world. And that's not necessarily the case. Some people are visual. Some people are going to be verbal, auditory. They're going to hear things. Some people are going to be kinesthetic. They feel things. For me, I feel it, but I feel it so strongly it's there. But when I describe it to people, I have to say, well, I see this, but I don't really see it. It's just such a strong sense. And that's what our senses are. Our senses are a way for us to interact in this physical world. Well, your senses can be used in the spiritual world too. And Steph has some senses that she can use in the spiritual world. And it's not always going to be vision. Like, I saw a movie. It was in Technicolor. And I was alive during Atlantis. No. She may not see the Technicolor movie. She may have just such a strong impression, like an imprint, almost like an imprint in sand. You know how you can have a shape and you can press it down, it's just there. It could be darkness. And no, I didn't see anything in the darkness, but I saw everything. I experienced everything in the darkness. So the first thing I want to do is make sure I start trying to educate as many people as possible to know that there's different ways of hearing these messages, of understanding, that people can talk to you, that you can see it, that you can feel it, you can smell it. What colors come to mind? And when you tap into that, that's what you're seeing. It's almost like the spiritual world is bleeding in to the physical world. So by the time it reaches you, you're seeing just the color red or just the color blue, or you're feeling just the emotion. And we as physical beings with 1 foot in physical, 1 foot in the spiritual, it's up to us to improve our skills at being able to interpret the messages that come through and not being afraid to fail, not being afraid to be wrong. I mean, how many of you have ever rode a bicycle? You had to get past the fear. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. You had to get past the fear of falling down in order to ride through. So when it comes to past life regression, when it comes to readings, yeah, I'll do it for you. I really want you to do it for yourself. But I gotten over that. I realized that some people just a little hesitant in doing it for themselves. They don't really trust their inner voice. So when they do, oh my goodness, life becomes so much sweeter across the board. So all of these things are possible. I do it. We do it together. All right. We can do it together and have a meditation on what were life like for human beings 50,000 years ago. We now know science is wrong. Mankind's older than 10,000 years, dummies. It's like people look for science to prove what things are. When spiritually, trust what spirit is telling you and wait for science to catch up. That's the best way to be. So now they're like, oh, well, the oldest human being was in Africa. I take pride for that. Now it's like, oh, darn it, we're in Africa. It was Turkey. Next thing you know, it's going to be England. Or it's just, the world just constantly changes as science catches up to spirituality. But you can meditate right now and go back. You can tap into what they call the Akashic records and see all the past lives you ever had, the lives you will have in the future. You can see it all because time does not exist when you go into trance, when you go into the spiritual world. It doesn't exist. So you can see it all. There's infinite options. All right, cool. So I did all of that, but at the end of the day, people want someone else to take accountability for doing their past life readings or readings just in general. And I'm cool with that. But I want you to know you can do it too. Now, why? So when I first learned how to do this, I went to a class and my spiritual mentor, he died this year, John White. Phenomenal guy. He went with me to India when I was doing those big speeches, and he was having a class on this. And he wrote something down on a piece of paper, a name on a piece of paper. And then he folded the paper up, and there was 60 of us in the class. And he said, I want you all to go into trance. All right. I want you to tell me what name did I write on that piece of paper. Me and 2 other people in that class got that name right. And the name was Plato. That's what he wrote down. And the first thing that came to my mind, I just let that come out. And he said the reason why he did that exercise is because where that answer came from, that's the intuition you need to tap into. That's the energy you need to tap into in order to be able to even see your past lives, in order to be able to do readings. So you have to practice on that stuff. You got to feel your way through it. But the purpose of the past lives is not just to use it as a soap opera of, wow, I was alive in the 14th century and I was this and I was that. But so that you can change your present to make a more promising future, for you to release some of the health problems that you had, so that you're able to shine brighter and be more joyful and spread that joy in this world. So all time exists at the same time. So if I take you into a deep trance state in a place where time does not exist, that's where you do the past life. And the more you do it, the quicker you can get there. I can go into that trance state in 2 seconds because I go into that trance state every day since 2012. So the more you do it, the faster you get there. I went to a place called the Monroe Institute. They also taught us about how to anchor certain places spiritually. Well, when you get to that spiritual place, you imagine a symbol and you imagine a number and you anchor that place there. And then you go away. And when you're in this physical state, you close your eyes, you see that symbol in your mind and number, and you say, go, whoosh, and there you are. Simple as that. It's just like in the physical world, if I had a rope and I went somewhere and I put it in the ground, for stick, and then just kept the rope and walked someplace else, I can just follow the rope to get back. Same thing applies. So recreate the past. When I did the past life regression, and I treated it like a movie. So seeing that lion right before it hopped out to me and having that feeling, I replaced that feeling of fear with accepting the inevitable, with the peace of what was going to happen. I took that emotion out. And then I let that movie play through with me holding on to peace and having let go of the fear, having let go of the anger. And I replayed it again and again and again and again and again. And then I came out of trance. And the feeling of having that stage fright was no longer there. I was able to speak to bigger crowds and larger crowds, and then impossible crowds. So much so that when I say I spoke to 800,000 people live, I feel like I was lying. But Akil, you were there when it happened. So you're my proof, my living proof. So you can reprogram your past simply by replacing the emotions from it, rescripting. So what I want you to do is we're going to practice right now, okay? And I'm going to take you into trance. And once I take you into trance, I want you to control what would it feel like if you felt this way, because that's the energy you tap into in order for you to be able to pull out your past lives. All right. So power, courage, peace, wisdom. First, I'm going to get you relaxing in the trance, and then I'm going to just listen to my voice. And as I bring up these different things, I want you to make yourself feel that, make yourself find that. Okay. So here we go. Let's take a deep breath, inhaling and exhaling. Okay. And if you haven't already, close your eyes and continue to breathe and monitor your breath. Notice that you're going inhale, and then notice as you exhale, in which each inhale and exhale, allow yourself to relax deeper and deeper. Continue to relax, where all the stress in your face floats away. Relax your head and your face to the point where you feel like it's no longer connected to the rest of your body. As you inhale and exhale, the vertebrae along your spine Let them relax. Your whole back and torso. Release. And as you inhale and exhale, you go deeper and deeper. Now, allow this relaxation to float all the way through your thighs, your legs, your toes, your arms. Your whole body is relaxed. And from this point, inhale and exhale in a place of no time and no space. Enjoy this tranquil place. Now, imagine power. How does it feel to have power? Now that you tapped in to power, imagine a timeline in your life, present or past, where you had power. What do you hear? What do you feel? What's being said? Is there a smell? Is there a color? Are you in the sky? In the water? On the ground? Now, let go of whatever impression that you have and go back to the place of trance in no time and no space. And focus on your breath as you inhale and exhale. Now, imagine a color that clears and erases all things. Maybe for you, it's light blue. Maybe for you, it's yellow. Whatever color erases all things, use that color to clear out your past impression. Now, focus on the emotion of courage. Courage. How does it feel to have courage? Feel courage now. Now, taking that emotion, allow yourself to go through courage back in time, in this life or any other, where you had courage. What do you see? Or what do you feel? What do you know about this particular timeline in your past where you had courage? Is there a statement that comes to your mind? Do you feel a color? Do you smell any words? Now, release all impressions from that timeline and from courage using the color to clear all memories, going back to the state of trance. Now, with a clear mind, focus on peace. Focus on peace. Put yourself into a peaceful state now. Allow yourself, your very essence, to go through peace back in time to a timeline that's peaceful. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you want to say? Are you in the air? Are you in the water? Are you on the ground? What year is it? Don't judge, and let the first thought that comes to your mind be what you remember and you anchor. What skill do you have? What was your favorite thing to do? Notice in your mind how easy or hard it is to allow your first thought to come through. In this peaceful place, were you loved or were you the lover? Or both? Now, using your color, erase all impressions from this particular timeline, clearing and going back to the original state of trance with no time and space. And focus on wisdom. Wisdom. Travel through wisdom to another time, another place. Where are you taken to? Who are you in this timeline? What was your life purpose? What was your life obstacle? How does this timeline relate to your current life? Now, use your color to erase all impressions of this particular timeline and go back to the original state of trance in no time and no place. Focusing on your breath. Inhale and exhale. Now, in a state of trance, in your mind, set this intention. Every lifetime I experienced and I learned, I am thankful and grateful for everything that I experienced and everything that I learned. I will remember everything from this meditative trance. Moving forward, I should take the lessons and experiences, pulling them into this life and enhancing things, making things better, and shining my light better. It is done. It is done. It is done. Now, take a deep breath, inhale as you open your eyes, and as you exhale, smile. The meditation should be happy. It shouldn't be like grumpy, evil meditation. Cool. Let's see how we're doing the time. Oh, 4 minutes. Oh my God, time flies fast. Okay. Now, as you're coming out of trance, I want you to think about your experiences. I'm going to be asking you about them. Okay. And I'm going to share a few slides as you come out of trance, and feel free to jot anything down if you want to, put it in the chat so you don't forget, because the more you move, it's like a dream. Things start to go away. Any impression, any thoughts you have, just throw them down in the chat so you don't forget. Come on now, real quick, put it down in the chat so you don't forget. It's just like when you wake up from your dream and you start moving, it's like, oh man, I can't remember it. So put things down before they slip away. Okay. Now, what new skill did it take you no time to pick up on and master? I want you to think about that, because these are certain things that come from past life that it's not that you learned a new skill, you remembered this skill. So I wanted to show you guys an example of something I went through. This is real life. This happened to me in May. Okay, day 1, day 2, and 3. I started doing aerial yoga. Never did aerial yoga before a day in my life. This is what I did day 1. Come on now. I have never done this before. This was day 1. My teacher was like amazed. This was day 2. Week later, came back. That's what I did. This was day 3. I'm like, that's the name of this place too, Flying Buddha. As you can see, I got different pants on, same shirt. I washed that shirt though. Don't judge me, Kevin. Wash that shirt. Day 1, day 2, and day 3. There's certain things that you do that, I mean, oh my God, I would have never thought of aerial yoga. I saw Mick Jagger did this, and he's old. I was like, oh my God, I want to be like that. So if he did that, let me try it. And I try it, and it turns out I'm like a master at this sucker. And I just started. So what do you have that you could be a master of? How much more beautiful can life be when we're able to tap into these experiences, things that we did in the past? So I want to throw some questions out for you, some things that you can continue to research. As you see, that meditation we did was short. It did not take me long. to get you into trance, to get you into that state of chilling. You can do that all the time. So here's some questions. Which cultures are you attracted to but have not experienced? My mother-in-law loves anything Native American. Now she's high yellow black. She's definitely not Indian, not Native American, but she loves anything that has to do with Native American cultures. My wife loves Greek culture. Okay. What timelines are you drawn to in history? Do you see certain movies around certain periods like, oh God, I got to see that movie? Or you just feel like you're lost in time, that this just reminds you, you just feel more comfortable and at home? What are your phobias? Like I told you about my mama in the bridge, right? Ain't nobody ever did anything to my mama on the bridge. So what phobias do you have that don't relate to this life? Heights, water, all right? For me, heights too. I went to Greece last week. We had to jump off this little ridge, like a cave, into water. Woo! My son was watching too. I wasn't trying to look like a punk, but that's a straight up fear that I had to step into with that. All right. Why? You know, what types of people do you feel attracted to help? Or what kind are you repulsed by? Sometimes that's what you were in the last life. Sometimes that's what you had to fight in the last life. What are your beliefs on money? Do you think all rich people are evil? Well, we need to fix that. That might be why you broke us a joke right now. Money ain't evil. It's just like a knife. I can use a knife to spread butter, to cut a cake, or cut your throat. It's the intentions behind it. So as you go into your past life regressions, as you're looking at your belief structure, we can change the belief structure. We can open up so many different avenues. You can be rich. I'm telling you right now, I am going to have $1 billion in assets. I just am. Hospitals, orphanages. I'm going to do that. I'm not afraid of money. Any belief structure I had on money and being limited or not being worth that, I got rid of that. I replaced that energy. And you can replace it too. Okay. Some thoughts that you can have as you go through. We ran out of time for doing readings. I do want to hear from some of you and what your personal experience were. Manu, can you put that link for Friday? Like if anybody wants to get with me and schedule an appointment for me to do like a past life regression reading for them, then they can. I'm going to give you guys some questions that you can ask me or anybody that's going to do a past life regression, even asking yourself, which past life has the greatest impact on my current life? Okay. Who do I know in this life whom I'm making up karma for? That mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law you hate, they may be in your life this time because you didn't fix stuff from the last lifetime. And if you don't fix it this time, it's going to happen again. Okay. What skills did I pick up in the previous life? Like my Buddha skills were there. So there could be certain talents that you have. Okay. Next week, we're going to go into manifesting techniques. I extended the class to be 1 hour and 30 minutes because here's reality. I wanted to do an hour, right? So that we could then have bigger classes that happen in a quarter. I don't see that happening anytime soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend our normal class so we can have more workshops, more interactions, more meditations. We'll take things a little bit slower. Manu, I'm going to mute you because your noise is coming back off. So I'm going to extend the class a little bit more so we can have more hands-on. Let me just make this the thing that I wanted to do in the future until the website gets to the place that I want it to be. So we're going to look at manifesting techniques of meditating. I found out something totally different than the way that I previously did, which is whatever you want from the inside, right? You want it from the inside and then you push it out. No, I found something totally different, so much so that when I did it financially, yeah, it made me 7 figures, not 6, 7. This was 2 weeks ago after going to the Joe Dispenza thing. So I'm going to talk about the outside and coming in and the techniques around that. I'm going to talk about your health and how you can manifest better health. What do? How do you heal people utilizing these new manifestation techniques? Part of it is being able to go above yourself 67 feet in the air, okay? Then going over, coming down, looking inside someone else, identifying the parts of their body that are ill, and then being able to shine light in it. So anyone who has a sickness, an illness, a headache, a sore thumb, bring it with you next Sunday, because we're going to spend 1/3 of the time teaching the techniques. I want to spend 1/3 of the time doing remote healings on people. And that's how we're going to roll moving forward. We're going to start using practical spiritual stuff that is going to have an impact in your life immediately, because talk is cheap. Cool. So with that, I'm going to stop right here and open it up and say, Chris, Kevin, Steph, Rozzy, anybody, what were the things that you saw about your past life when you did the past life regression?
I'll speak up. The one thing I did see something when we got to courage, and it was actually wisdom. When we got to wisdom, I had a clear vision of me sitting it was almost like a Native American setting. And I saw the color purple first. It was like a lighter color purple, but then like people were looking at me to guide and protect them through my wisdom that I had gained. So it was sort of like it was weird. It was sort of like a chieftain or something from Native America. So that was kind of where I drew it was like a wisdom thing from the past, where I'd kind of sit and guide people and protect them with my wisdom. So that was one experience I had, just to share.
So I want to give you some feedback on that. What I got was that you were in Utah. You were in Utah, and you weren't a medicine man, but that's
not medicine.
That
like a
I can
chieftain or
come to
something.
it, right? It was like a spiritual guy, like an elder, and
Right.
the color purple speaks to wisdom. So what I'm going to suggest for you using colorology is that in this life, anytime you have to advise someone, or ahead of time you're going to advise someone, wear purple, have purple around you, because energetically everything has energy, everything has vibrations, and that's going to tap in. So thanks for sharing that, Chris. Anybody else?
So I was doing the meditation, and the first thing that came to mind was a place wherever my anchor was. It looked like an official government building. But then I learned about my past life. I was a spider on a farm, and I had a lot of spider babies, and I was able to go everywhere and see the spider babies. And as soon as I realized it, as soon as I saw myself there, I just started smiling like a baby. I couldn't help myself. I felt like I knew something real deep about myself that's there, and that made me feel like maybe souls are eternal. And thinking about that really is something that's come up in my past a couple times.
That's awesome. So when you first said something about the government building, the first thing that came to my mind was the year 1960. In terms of so just take that for whatever it's worth. When it came to the spider, I think that use that as symbolism. So if you're going to start a new business, or if you ever have to look for a logo, using the spider will tap into the energy of the past that will empower certain things that will help you out. That's the beauty of our past lives, that we have cranked up all this energy around certain things. And if we can use that, it's like you got all this backup. So spider webs, those things, yeah, anything you can do to add that into anything you do in this life will help you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
I
I'm sorry,
also
somebody-
did the meditation, but I'm not able to get anything from these types of meditations. So I wonder, like, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I just
Okay,
don't
so-
have any past lives. I'd
Oh,
imagine.
no, don't say that. Don't say that. You absolutely got something. You just aren't.
My
used to
mom said I
remember,
have
like I
none,
said.
though. She said I'm
Mhm.
totally new to this earth, and that's why I struggle with everything.
So I would disagree with your mama. Ain't nobody new to this earth. She may be trying to talk. She may be trying to talk bad about you. You better watch that girl. But in terms of the meditation, just remember what I said. That it's not like it's a movie or you see stuff. You can't compare your experiences to somebody else. Like when I ask you questions like, do you feel anything? Do you smell anything? Did a number come to mind? When I ask you questions, what's that first thought that pings into your mind? You don't judge it, you just let that come through. And the more you get into allowing the first thought to come in your mind, it flows. You absolutely got, sometimes it's after this is over and later on today, something's going to pop into your mind because you tapped into something and that something's going to come forward. It just comes a little bit faster for some people than others. And sometimes you don't recognize it. For me, my spiritual abilities catapulted. I took improv comedy in DC. And what I learned in taking improv comedy is have no filter, just let things flow. And when I did that, it's like a soft snap I felt in my brain and just stuff just started to flow through. So don't put up the block. Don't say you didn't get anything. Say, if I got something, I haven't recognized it yet, but I'm looking. And then more
That's
things
cool.
will begin to come your way. Okay.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, well, cool. Well, we are 10 minutes over our time. Is there anybody else that has something real quick?
Wanted to say that during my experience, I always been the one who's the savior. You know, always trying to fix things for other people and try to make them see that they're bigger than what they are.
Yeah, you're a warrior. Every lifetime you had, you have been a warrior. Just like me, every lifetime I had, I've been a communicator, from being a monk that's scribing to author, speaker, singer, everything for me around communication. I'm a genius when it comes to communication. I can't fix nothing. I'm an idiot. I can't change the oil. But all of us, our spirits, we are who we are. That's why it's so funny. Like when I speak to the Kills and Bob Nuz, you know, the real young people, they're trying like, oh my God, what should my job be? What should I do? What's my career? I'm like, it really don't matter. Because if you're a loving person and you're a janitor, you can be a loving janitor. If you're a loving person and you're a politician, you can be a loving politician. At the core of who you are, it just comes out. It doesn't matter what you do. It matters who you are. And I think that's the beauty behind this past life stuff, that when we stop looking at it as in spiritual soap opera, but try to apply the stuff that we experience, woo, life becomes sweet. So, Pragnath Manu, I think you put the link in there for anybody that needs some help or want to have a reading next upcoming Friday. I reserve like all Friday for it. Feel free to sign up for it. Thank you. And otherwise, we'll see you next August. And tell some other people about our group. See if we can get our numbers back up. I think summer is ending and people are getting off vacation. But if it's 2 people or 40 people or 200 people, I'm going to be here every Sunday. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. I love you. And I'm going to go watch Suicide Squad with my family now. HBO Max.
Have a great week.
Thanks. You take care.
Okay.
Bye, Rick. Bye, Steph.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Pumpkin.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
So,
Thank you.
Minutia.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.